right. Well, I'm excited to be here. Today we're at the Green Burial Chronicles with Morgan Oaks. We're in season 2. So you're our headliner for season 2.
Ooh.
Everyone, this is Austin Cook, and I asked her specifically because I think she has a really wonderful story. Selfishly, it reminded me of my story. And I think it says a lot about Morgan Oaks, your neighbors to us. And so that's really special. I think we've created a really cool community at Morgan Oaks. And so I'm grateful you said yes, because I know this is not going to be easy. But before we do anything, I would love to know a little bit about you. And then we'll get into the story.
Okay. Well, I'm Austin. I grew up in the Granite Bay area, is where I spent most of my life. And then my parents, it was 2014, so I was 21, and they decided to move out of Granite Bay and move to Lincoln and buy 20 acres out there, which is crazy. I was like, you guys are nuts. But after that, I moved away to San Diego. I lived there for 3 years, and then I moved back home in 2018. Perfect. And then I've been there ever since. I met my now husband. I've had a baby. I have an almost 2-year-old.
So cute.
I work for a law office, a bankruptcy law office, as a case manager. And there's been a lot of changes in the last like 7 years, 8 years since I've moved back home. So
yeah. I remember coming to your house to pick up money, and you were like, don't worry about the goat in the front, just like drive by it, just run into
ignore
it,
the
whatever.
pigs. Ignore the pigs, ignore the goat, whatever, he's fine.
I'm used to it now out there. When families are like, can you swing by? I'm like, yep, which long road, which goat?
I was like, drive all the way up the driveway. Like, I get deliveries all the time, and some guy called me the other day, and he's like, do I drive all the way up? And I'm like, yeah, I'm not walking all the way down. You're the one in the car.
All the way.
Yeah.
So good. Okay, so, obviously this is not a story of like, wow, you found Morgan Oaks on the best day of your life. I remember meeting you guys. I thought to myself, what a strong family, because it was a wild story.
Yes.
So take us back. Your dad passed in November, so very recently.
Yes.
Take us back to that.
Sorry. My dad has been sick since February of 2025 is when we started really noticing it. And he's always had health issues. He's never really taken care of himself. But we started really noticing it in February, and then April he had edema in his legs. And that's just been our process of trying to figure out why that was happening, what was causing it. And then he had a heart condition, which he actually just, a month prior to him passing, had gone in for a surgery, like where they shock the heart and because he had an arrhythmia, and so they got it back into rhythm. Sorry. He passed, or he had a heart attack on the day of my rehearsal dinner for my wedding. And I had just gotten my hair done, and I was calling my mom because I was really, really excited that my hairdresser matched my extensions perfectly to my hair color. And she wasn't answering, and I thought that was kind of weird. And so I called her again, and she answered, and she just kind of was like, I don't really know how to tell you this, but the paramedics are here. They're working on your dad. He just dropped.
Yeah.
And she had just been speaking with him about, because all my family was there, his brother was there, obviously, for my wedding.
Yeah.
And his brother was a doctor, and thank God.
Yeah.
But he was able to perform CPR until the paramedics got there. The paramedics were able to get him breathing again, and he was transferred to the ICU. At that point, we really didn't know. We just knew he was breathing. And we knew that he couldn't breathe on his own. He was on a ventilator at the ICU. But, my mom told me, I said, what do I do? Do I cancel the rehearsal dinner? Do we cancel the wedding? Like, what do we do? And she said, no, let's just keep going, just depending, because we don't know what's going
Yeah.
on. And so we went ahead and did everything. My mom came from the hospital and came to the rehearsal dinner, and we kind of like talked, and they said they're not going to know anything yet. He's essentially in a coma at this point. And my doctor, or not my doctor, my uncle, who was a doctor, went there the next day, and they said, we still don't really know anything yet. But based on what they had said, they were hopeful that he would recover.
Yeah.
And so we went we went as the wedding was planned. It was definitely a downer for sure. Like, I really wish my dad had been there.
Sure.
My uncle walked me down the aisle, which was, the next best thing I could have. But the next day I was supposed to do, the after wedding things with everybody. And I was just like, I just want to go to the ICU. I just want to see him. Because I hadn't been there yet because of everything that was going on. And so I went there, and that's when the doctors informed us that he was essentially brain dead.
Yeah.
And that his body, the only thing it could do was breathe, and that was it. And that he wasn't gonna make it. And so that was really, really hard. So I went, me and my brand new husband went to, I was talking to my mom. I was like, well, what do you want us to do? Like, I feel like I can't sit at the hospital because I had a toddler. Like, I'm like, I need to go do something. And so she's like, well, go to the cemetery, Morgan Oaks, over by the house. Your dad always liked it there.
Yeah.
And I said, okay, no problem. So I went there. You weren't there. I think it was just I don't even think anybody was working that day other than somebody out who maintained the property. And I was like, he was like, well, you guys can go walk around the property and take a look at everything. And I said, sure, no problem. Because, it's beautiful out. Yeah. It's gorgeous. And so I walked out there, and we walked all the way out by the big oak tree. Mm-hmm. And I saw the stone that said Bridge to Valhalla, and I went, oh my God, because my dad constantly talked about, how he was going to go to Valhalla. And like, he was a Viking and was going to do all these things. And I went, oh my God, it's perfect. Like, how crazy is this? Yeah. And I walked over there, and I saw that big, beautiful oak tree, and I was like, oh, it's just like the oak tree we have at our house, which he calls Thinking Tree. Yeah. And so I went, oh, well, it couldn't be more perfect. Yeah. And so I called my mom, and I was like, you're not going to believe, like, this part. And then to find out that the Valhalla was specifically for veterans, I went, oh my God, it's even better, because he was in the Navy. Yeah. And so I was like, this is perfect. So that's when we reached out. I got your number, your card, and I reached out to you about setting that up and getting the information for my mom, and it was perfect. And it's actually it's kind of weird, but my dad came to me in a dream, and he looked at me in my dream, and he's like, I better have a view. And I said, you do have a view. It was right after we had confirmed everything. I was like, you do have a view. And he's like, no, I better have a view. And I'm like, you have a view. And then he's like, okay. And then just like the dream ended. And I was like, woke up. I'm like, but it was that was who my dad was. Yeah. Like, very blunt, direct. Everything has to be his way or the highway kind of guy. So, it was rough. It's been rough trying to do it. Me and my husband and my son have moved up with my mom. We're completely revamping the property. Sure. For a lot of years, it was it looks completely different than the last time we were there. Yeah, and
I was just there.
Yeah. For a lot of years, it's been my dad's stuff, Dan's stuff, sprinkled with a little bit of my mom's stuff. Yeah. And now we're trying to make it my mom's stuff sprinkled with a little bit of my dad's stuff. So it's just a little bit more feminine and light, and, makes her happy, but she still gets, these pieces of my dad without, giant
reminders
fish.
Too.
Well, and giant, giant fish on the wall. Like, she doesn't need that over the fireplace. Yeah. That's just not something that needs to be there.
Yes, it was good while he was here.
Yes.
But, so I love that you hit on, this was such a perfect setting for him, right?
Yeah.
Like you got there and you knew immediately.
Oh, yeah.
And so talk to me, what has it meant for you or for your grief journey to have your dad one so close, but in that place?
So it's really great for me. I drive on Gladding every day. I mean, every single day I'm on that road. And, when I pick up my son from school and we're driving home, I see the tree. The
Yeah.
tree's right there. You can see it, which is nice too because you can park right there and just
Yeah.
walk there instead of walking the whole trail. But you see the tree, and then I go to my son. I go, Waylon, let's wave to Papa, wave to
Yeah.
Papa. And so, and he'll sit in the back and go, hi, Papa, and he doesn't get it. He's
Right.
he's almost 2. So, but he knew who my dad
Yeah,
was. And he sees pictures of my dad and still goes, Papa, Papa, Papa. And it's like part of it totally breaks my heart because I obviously wanted my dad to have more time with him. But another part of it's like, I'm so glad he got the time and that my son does know who he is.
Yeah.
So that was hard. And it's been rough because, this is early, but my brother and my sister-in-law just found out they're having a baby too.
Yeah.
And so, it's been very exciting, but also kind of somber.
Sure.
Just knowing that, we were hoping that he would be there for that too.
Sure.
So.
And I love that you said he loved the thinking tree because I always tell people that is the best tree on the property. There's a bench underneath it. And so it's like the perfect spot for you to sit. I know I was talking to you before we started. My dad is up on Sunset Bridge, and his birthday, Father's Day, and the date of his death are all in the same month. They're like within 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So I go and sit on Sunset Bridge, and we have dinner together every June.
Oh,
so
that's
like
lovely.
for you get to sit there and have that time with him, and it's right by your house. So I find for a lot of our people that lay their loved ones to rest, Morgan Oaks has become a place where they want to visit.
Yes.
They want to go by.
Yeah.
Instead of, another location where it's sad and it's somber. This is supposed to bring peace and light and just, it's not a fun moment, but like, how can we make it feel better for you?
Absolutely.
And so, obviously it's helping your healing journey because you get to drive by there every day. It's a place where you knew your dad would love it.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, and it's funny too because I'm sure you heard that my mom.
I wasn't gonna bring it up, but since you are, I'll let you.
It's so funny. I can't believe she did this. She put his wrong birthday or the date the year he was born. She put it as her year that she was born, and mind you, this passed through me, my brother, other family members, and I'm like, no, yeah, that looks right, whatever. Like, I had no idea. And now it's just going to be an ongoing joke for us. So every time we go out there is that little, like, piece of laughter because it's like, I can hear in my head. Like, I can hear him being like, are you kidding me, Kelly? Like,
we were dying.
Yeah, like, it's so funny, and it's just like, my mom's like, yeah, I'm not going to pay to fix it.
Well, and I think it's so fitting because, for the listeners, when I met this family, for me, it stirred up a lot of emotions too. But I met them, and I think there was 5 of you at the time, and they were kind of all laughing. It had very traumatic, and, just the way you guys were handling it. Obviously, everyone handles grief differently, but, and it's what we can do in the moment. Yeah. But then to hear the headstone story, I was like, oh my gosh, I love this for them.
Yeah.
Because it is funny, it is silly, and it's part of your journey.
Well, yeah.
And I love that.
So, like, my family coded. Like, this absolutely would happen. And so, like, now the joke is my mom's like, well, when I die, you put his birth year on my headstone. I was like, perfect. So we'll do that.
We'll make a note in case you forget. Okay, good.
So it's like, it's hilarious.
I love too, like, one, I felt like, for me, there was a relationship built with you guys so we could laugh with you about the headstone thing.
Yes.
I don't know that every location would be as like, that's weird. I thought like, let them, that's great.
Yeah.
Put the wrong date. What do I care? Okay. So you mentioned that his passing, and some of the questions I asked you has totally changed your mindset, which I think for most would. For me, it did. So talk to me a little bit about what that shift looks like for you.
So the biggest thing is the job I was working at, I was miserable. I mean, just I'd taken a job for better money, which made sense. I'm like, I have a toddler, I have to pay for daycare, I have to pay for groceries, like all these things. And I was like, this is what's going to be best for my family. I'll stick with it with the next couple of years, and then I'll go try to find something else. Sure. And it's something I'd been doing for the last 5 years. I just transitioned into with a new company, and I hated every second of it. I dreaded going to work. It was giving me panic attacks. It was just miserable. And then I took a week off for my wedding, obviously, and then that week turned into a month because of everything with my dad, and I was working from home and still trying to deal with everything, trying to get the arrangements and everything made, and, trying to help my mom the best I could. And then I'm still getting phone calls from people. I worked in HOA management, so I'm still getting phone calls from people being like, well, my neighbor's sprinkler's broken. Why can't you do something about this? And it just completely was like, all I wanted to say was, well, my dad died the day before my wedding. Why can't you do something about this? You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, I'm like, your problems are they're so small, and you're getting so mad at me, and I've done nothing to you. And I'm like, I can't do this anymore. Yeah. And so I talked to my husband, talked to my mom. We'd already planned that I was going to be moving up to her house to help with the property. She can't do it alone. Yeah. It's 20 acres. It's a lot. And so I told her, I was like, I'm taking a leave of absence. I can't do this. And in that time, I'm going to try to look for another job.
Yeah.
And thankfully, I actually saw a posting on Indeed. I was eating dinner with my family, and I'm sitting there, and my son's being crazy. My husband watching probably The Office, which is standard. And we're sitting there, and I'm just scrolling Indeed, and I see this job, and it was like, we're looking for somebody who's really nice. And I went, okay, I'm nice. I could do that. and it was just such a casual job posting. I went, oh, and it was for a bankruptcy case manager. I was like, I don't really know what that is, but I know that if people are filing bankruptcy, it'd be something I'm helping them, not them coming and being like
angry.
You're the worst person alive because you manage an HOA, crazy. But and so I sent my resume. I literally looked at my husband, and I go, Hayden, I'm gonna go apply for this job. Watch Waylon, watch, make sure he doesn't choke while he's eating dinner. And then I ran into our office. I typed up a cover letter, sent them my resume, and I got an email the next day setting up a phone call, and that went really well. I had my in-person interview that lasted about 20 minutes, and they're like, okay, well, we have a couple more interviews, and we'll let you know. And they called me 30 minutes later, and were like, hey, we want to offer you the job. And so I said, perfect. Yes. And so now I've been there since the end of January, so not that long, a little over a month, and it's been great. I really, really enjoy it. I feel like I'm actually helping people now. I get to be empathetic and kind, and there's a lot of people that call, and I mean, it's really scary.
Sure.
Filing for bankruptcy. It's a terrifying thing, and it feels really good to be able to help somebody and say everything's going to be okay. I'm going to hold your hand through this entire process, and just get to be gentle and soft and kind, and
I love that.
It's completely, I'm just happy. I'm not happy, obviously, that my dad died.
Sure.
But there were significant changes to my mindset that it brought, and it's now aligning much better with who I am and the person I want to be, and the example I want to be for my child, who was only seeing the very tense, stressed, panic. Now it's the worst mood he gets out of me is because I don't want to get up out of bed at 6:30 in the morning. Right. You know what I mean? And if that's the worst he sees of me, then okay.
And I think too, what I hear is life's too short to live miserable.
Yes.
I think also for me, and you could correct me if I'm wrong, but I think, I was living life so fast, work. I was missing all the little things.
Yeah.
And I always go back and think, man, if I could just spend one more day with my dad when he would call, and it would drive me crazy when he'd be like, the computer's not working. And I'm like, because you don't have it plugged in, you know? I'd be like, Dad, seriously? And now I'm like, God, I wish he would call. I tell people all the time, my little tip is when someone's complaining about parents, like the role changes, right?
Yeah.
Like you now become the caregiver. And I always say to them, I say, you know, I know it might be frustrating right now, but one day you're going to look back and wish that they would call and frustrate you. So, as frustrating as it is, listeners, take every moment you can because you don't know.
No.
You know, my dad's was 7 days, and honestly, he went in the hospital, and we thought, well, he'll come right out and he'll start messing with the computer again, and we'll just be doing this, and that didn't happen.
Yeah.
You know, and for you, I'm sure it was the same. Well, as soon as the rehearsal dinner gets over, I'll go over there and be like, Dad, like,
Yeah,
let's go.
we'll do a mock wedding in the ICU.
yeah.
Like, who cares? Like,
It'll be fine.
It'll be fine. Yeah.
So I would ask you this, like, like for me, my thing is slow down and, you know, think about like, what happens if they're not there tomorrow? Like what tip or what piece of advice would you give to people that, you know, maybe are like, I think for so many, Austin, I always said, oh my gosh, my parents are aging, but like they're only this or they're only 65, they're only 70. Like we have so much time together.
Yeah.
Like what tip would you give people that like maybe, you know, just that would help them with their loved ones?
You know, for me, my dad was young. I mean, he was, I mean, you're being in your 60s is not old anymore.
Yeah.
And so my dad was only 62. He would have been, or he just turned, wait, how old am I? I'm 33. So he just turned 63 in October 23rd. And and then he passed November 19th.
Yeah.
Officially is when he passed. I guess my advice would be, you know, spend as much time as you can with them, trying to just do what they like to do and get them out of the house. Don't let them act like they're being old. I have to tell my mom all the time, I'm like, even though I joke with her, I'm like, my little old lady.
Yeah.
You know, she's not. She's 65. And I'm like, but I make her go do stuff, but I also make her slow down because she does try to do too much. And even for like a 20-year-old, she's doing too much. I'm like, she's a little cuckoo like that, but she can't sit still. She's like, I have to be doing stuff.
Yeah.
But, you know, I like to do things that they like to do. And when they were younger, we like to talk about those things. And, you know, I try to go, me and my mom are best friends. We talk. I live with her now, and I still call her every single day on my way home. And then we talk for 45 minutes, and then I get home, and then we talk more. And it's like, and then I call her on my way to work after I just saw her in the morning. So, you know, talk to them as much as possible, hang out with them as much as possible, try to do things that they enjoy doing. I know for me and my family, we all played golf together. And so, you know, I've good memories of playing golf with my dad and him bragging the whole time and him not being very good at golf, but still being just a little bit better than me. So he could totally talk to me like that. And I'm like, God, you're annoying. But, you know, that would be my advice because you never know when it's going to happen because he was, I mean, for us, he was under medical care. I mean, he was seeing a doctor on every 2 weeks. And so like, this was just crazy. Right. How it happened and the type of heart, it wasn't what it is a widowmaker heart attack, but it wasn't that specific type of heart attack. Sure. He had a drop in potassium and his heart just stopped. And you just never know. You never know when that's going to happen. And it doesn't matter how old they are. I mean, it can happen whether they're 20 or whether they're 62 or whether they're 95. It doesn't matter. So just, I mean, my advice is to spend as much time and do as much as you can with them because you might not get to. and it sucks.
That would be mine too. That would be my advice. What's your favorite thing about having him at Morgan Oaks?
Having him at Morgan Oaks, just being, I mean, right now it's so gorgeous because everything's blooming. It's so pretty. But, you know, my favorite thing about having him there is the fact that he's only 5 minutes away. It's like he's right there. He's right by the road. I can just stop and talk to him. Sometimes I just pull over. I don't even get out of the car. I just chat, say things I want to say, you know. And so that's something I personally love having him there. I mean, he's close, and I know my mom really likes that too because for her, this has obviously been really, really hard. So they were 30. They would have been their 40th anniversary this year.
Wow. Yeah.
So they've been together for a very, very long time. And
So yeah, it's, I really like having him there because, like I said, I can drive by him, say, hi, Dad, like,
Yeah.
miss you, love you. And
Well, our dads are hanging out
yeah,
together.
they really are.
And we're taking good care of them. And I'm
Yes.
sure they had a very similar personality,
I'm-
it sounds like. So
Yeah.
I'm glad they're there together. But I'm really glad that you came and shared. I know this was really hard for you. I'm so grateful that you found us and that it's been such a blessing for you and your family. I know we love taking care of your dad and you guys and laughing about the headstone. And so
Yeah.
it's been great getting to know your family. So again, thank you. Is there anything else you want to leave the listeners with?
Just take your time with your family, slow down. It's not what you think is important is not actually important.
Yeah.
Spending time with people you care about is what's really important, and it's okay to take a couple days off work to
It
do
is.
things like that. Just love super hard, and I know people are really annoying, and your family especially can be very, very annoying. My dad was a very annoying person, but
We love them for that.
it was, and now when I look back at it, you get all the nostalgia, and I'm like, God, what I would do, because he was awful to car salesmen, but he would get us the best deal, and me and my mom would have to leave the room because he was so horrible, but it was like, what would I give for him to go negotiate down a car for me again, you know what I mean?
Totally.
So
I love that.
I just try to think about, all the good things, and you want to hold on to that stuff.
Totally. Well, thank you again. And for the listeners, you can find us on Instagram. You can find us on TikTok, Facebook, and YouTube. So thank you for listening. Walk gently, remember deeply, and celebrate the legacy of life. Thank you, Austin.
Thank you.